Hello and welcome to the class. I am Vishali Sharma, your psychology educator, and today we will be doing part 3 of our second chapter, Self and Personality. And these are certain things about myself. And if you want to join my live classes, you may contact on the number given below. Let's begin. पोस्ट फ्रॉइडन अप्रोचेस और नियो फ्रॉइडन्स या फिर साइकोलॉजिस्ट कह लीजिए जो फ्रॉइड के आसपास उनके बाद में उनके साथ काम करते थे, ये जितने भी साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे इनका मेजर कंसर्न सिर्फ सेक्सुअल और अग्रेसिव टेंडेंसीज नहीं था। इनका मानना था कि हमारे जो ह्यूमन टेंडेंसीज है जैसे कि क्रिएटिविटी, स्पॉन्टेनिटी एंड व्हाट डू वी कॉल इट, इंटरेस्ट एंड ऑल ऑफ दोज स्ट्रेंथ्स दैट वी हैव मस्ट ऑल्सो बी टेकन इनटू अकाउंट व्हेन यू आर गिविंग अ पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी। सो ये थोड़ा सा फ्रॉइड से अलग हुए और इन्होंने कहा कि हम ह्यूमन की क्वालिटीज पे थोड़ा ज्यादा ध्यान देंगे। सबसे पहले आए कार्ल यूंग। कार्ल यूंग ने एम्स एंड एस्पिरेशन पे बेसिक ध्यान दिया और उनकी एनालिटिकल साइकोलॉजी करके एक साइकोलॉजी थ्योरी है जिसमें इन्होंने कहा कि जो हमारी पर्सनालिटी है वो बेसिकली हमारी ही ऑपोजिंग फोर्सेस या फिर वी कैन से कॉम्पीटिंग फोर्सेस से एक जो हमारे अंदर स्ट्रक्चर है उसकी कॉम्पीटिंग फोर्सेस से ही बनती हैं। एंड देन इन्होंने कलेक्टिव अनकॉन्शियस के बारे में बात किया। नाउ कलेक्टिव अनकॉन्शियस इज बेसिकली व्हाट? कलेक्टिव अनकॉन्शियस इज इनके अकॉर्डिंग समथिंग दैट हैज बीन इनहेरिटेड फ्रॉम आवर एंसेस्टर्स, जो हमने अपने एंसेस्टर्स से इनहेरिट किया है। एंड इन्हें इमागोज, मोटिव्स, आर्कीटाइप्स क्या क्या कह के इन्होंने बुलाया है। एंड देन इन्होंने कहा जैसे कि गॉड का कॉन्सेप्ट, मदर अर्थ का कॉन्सेप्ट और ये जो हम मिथ्स और ड्रीम्स में पाते हैं वो सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स। इन्होंने ये भी कहा कि हमारा जो सेल्फ है, पर्सनैलिटी या सेल्फ है, वो हमेशा स्ट्राइव कर रहा है टुवर्ड्स यूनिटी एंड वननेस, कि हम गॉड के साथ एक होना चाहते हैं, मोक्ष चाहते हैं, हम एनलाइटन होना चाहते हैं, विजडम पाना चाहते हैं। तो वो हम यूनिवर्सली हर कोई चाहता है। तो दैट इज व्हाट ही टॉक्ड अबाउट। देन वी कम टू कैरन हॉर्नाय। सो कैरन हॉर्नाय वाज अ फीमेल साइकोलॉजिस्ट एंड ऑल्सो शी डिड नॉट हैड a good past with her own parents, so she had like multiple problems with her own mother. So she talked about optimism and she said that human growth and self actualization should be there. Neither the sex is very important, nor one is inferior nor one is superior, is what she used to say, that men and women are equal, but men and women majorly face discrimination because women have so much social and cultural factors that affect them emotionally, mentally, physically, that you cannot take into account. According to her, she also said that disturbed interpersonal relationship with parents in childhood does affect how the child is going to behave in their future, because we as a kid always have basic anxiety. Now what is basic anxiety? Basic anxiety is that will I get food today, will I be having all good clothes today, will I be having the same books that my friends have. So all of these basic what do we call it, tension in the child's head is already there. So she said that basic anxiety is like coming from basic human, but that anxiety becomes neurotic when the parents behavior is very indifferent, very discouraging and very erratic. Why am I saying like very discouraging? Because some parents you will see, नहीं नहीं हमारे बच्चे से नहीं होगा, नहीं नहीं ये नहीं कर पाएगी, नहीं नहीं इसको नहीं आता, नहीं ये तो एवरेज बच्चा है, अरे ये तो सारे काम बिगाड़ देगा, अरे इसने किया है, नहीं नहीं फिर तो जरूर कोई ना कोई खराबी होगी। सो saying that out, you think that आप बच्चे को अगर दबा के रखेंगे या आप बच्चे को इस तरीके से बिहेव करेंगे बच्चे के साथ कि बच्चा आपका मतलब डांट खा के अच्छा बनेगा। सो समटाइम्स इट डज नॉट वर्क लाइक दैट। इफ यू बीइंग लाइक वेरी इंडिफरेंट, बच्चा आ गया, सो गया, खा लिया, आपको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है, एंड इफ बच्चा इज देयर एंड इवन इफ द किड इज देयर एंड यू आर बीइंग लाइक इसको तो कुछ नहीं आता, नालायक एंड ऑल, लाइक यू सेइंग all the bad words to the kid, then the anxiety become neurotic and the child will start having basic hostility towards their own parents. अब क्या होता है, आप अपने पेरेंट्स के खिलाफ hostilities नहीं दिखा सकते, neither to the society nor to anybody around you and neither your own partner, friend, nobody. You cannot clearly speak it out loud कि no, I don't like my parents or something like that. So they have deep resentment also like towards their parents. Then came Alfred Adler. Alfred Adler gave lifestyle and social interest, and his psychology is individual psychology. He talked about personal goals as a source of motivation, that he did not take into account the past of the child or something related to past or childhood or something. He said that everybody in life has a personal goal and everybody wants to achieve it. So here he talked about inferiority complex. So we as a child are born with some primary inferiorities, like we have organ inferiority, हम इतने strong नहीं होते कि हम अपने लिए खुद उठ सकें, खुद अपना खाना ले सके. Like when the baby is like literally a baby, the kid wants food, the kid cries for food, the kid cries for like shelter, everything the kid cries for. So they have organ inferiority. So these are primary inferiority which are already there in human. But he said that secondary inferiority or inferiority complex comes when the child starts to feel कि वो जो भी कर रहा है that is all wrong is. Like अगर पेरेंट्स हैं then parents are like नहीं ये बच्चा तो मतलब इतना ज्यादा अच्छा कर ही नहीं सकता है. सो वो इंफीरियोरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स अराइज होगा जब वो सफर करेगा इस फीलिंग से जो कि गिल्ट से रिलेटेड है उसके चाइल्डहुड में, क्योंकि अब उस बच्चे ने जब मतलब ओवर कंपनसेट कर लिया या अंडर कंपनसेट कर लिया अपने स्किल को, लाइक मैं तो फेल ही होऊंगा, मैं तो कभी कर ही नहीं सकता, मुझसे तो होगा ही नहीं, या फिर मैं तो ऐसा नहीं कर सकता, इस तरीके का बिहेवियर. या फिर अंडर कंपनसेशन 99 आया 100 में से ओवर कंपनसेशन, मतलब लाइक you can't say like basically what sort of compensation that child is doing, but these children basically suffer from inferiority complex, thinking that जो भी हम कर रहे हैं वो कभी भी अच्छा नहीं हो सकता, या फिर जो भी हम कर रहे हैं वो एकदम up to the mark, benchmark को क्रॉस नहीं कर रहा है. Then came Eric Fromm. He talked about human concerns and developed from social orientation. इन्होंने कहा कि जो human being है वो social beings है, like हमें अपनी society में होना बहुत जरूरी है. हमारी जो personality है वो हमारे experiences से बनती है जो कि हम अपने बाकी के individual जो हमारी society में उनके साथ में लेकर चलते हैं. And culture जो है वो हमारा society से shape होता है. Then he also talked about the tenderness and love in personality development. Every time we say that the presence of a mother in the child's upbringing is the most important thing in the like initial 5 years of life. It is scientifically proven, right? Because the child always needs someone. For every little thing the child needs you. So if the child does not like meet their demands or their needs by their own primary caregiver, they start to feel like mistrust, or they start to have that hostility and resentment towards their own parents. So then we have Erik Erikson, who gave a very, very beautiful theory. His theory is like for a lifelong, like it is not just like for oral stage to genital stage. According to Freud, he gave the lifelong stage of development, and he said the search for identity. So in every stage there was a person who's searching for their own identity. They had a crisis that needs to be overcome so that the child reaches to their high next stage, and then ultimately to ego's integrity stage. So he said that development is viewed as a lifelong process, and identity is basically central to the process. कि हमारी identity बनने के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हमारे सारे crisis का मिटना. Then he talked about identity crisis, where he said that young people generate a central perspective and a direction that can give them a meaningful sense of unity and purpose. So if the child has a meaningfulness in or around them, in themselves and around them, then they will have unity and purpose in their life, according to Erik Erikson. Then there was certain criticism faced by psychodynamic approach. Why? Because these theories were like more based on case studies and lack rigorous scientific basis. Yeah, obviously you cannot test the hypothesis that is like asking you to like check for the culture or society. So these were like not so rigorous on their scientific base. Then they used very small and atypical individual as a sample for advancing generalization. Like Freud mostly used only males. Okay. For studying, he used only females. He used only female case studies to say that only conversion and hysteria are only the disorders of females. Okay, and he also used very small sample. Like case study, you do only of 1% or 2% or 3%. So he said that हाँ ठीक है इन तीन के साथ हो रहा है, that means everybody suffers from the same. Then the concepts are not defined properly and is difficult to say that like they can be tested साइंटिफिकली, क्योंकि आप कैसे साइंटिफिकली टेस्ट करोगे इफ यू डू नॉट हैव अ ऑपरेशनल डेफिनेशन फॉर इट. देन Freud used only males as prototypes and he overlooked female in experience perspective. So when it comes to his theory, he overlooked females, but when it comes to the case studies, he overlooked males because he said all the bimaris are in females, and during theories he said that no, only males need to be like the prototype of my story on my theory and nobody else needed to be like incorporated in the same. Then we come to behavioral approach. So behavioral approach is like in a stark contrast to what psychoanalytic and then psychodynamic. So here I also want to make a point that you should know that psychoanalytic and psychodynamic are two different things. Psychoanalytic psychology is of Freud, whereas psychodynamic psychology is neo-Freudian psychology, because that brought about dynamic changes in the earlier psychoanalytic theory. Then we come to behavioral approach. So it does not give much importance to internal dynamics of behavior, obviously a stark contrast I mentioned. Then behavior is believed in data that is definable, observable and measurable, कि जो मुझे दिख रहा है, and they said that behavior can be learned, with the behavior which is learned can also be unlearned. So इन्होंने simply कहा कि जो behavior में देख सकते हैं, जो behavior हम ऑब्जेक्टिवली देख सकते हैं एंड उसको टेस्ट कर सकते हैं, डिफाइन कर सकते हैं, बस वही बिहेवियर है, इंटरनल कुछ नहीं होता है. अकॉर्डिंग टू देम दे सेड नो इंटरनल मैकेनिज्म्स. सो दे फोकस्ड मोर ऑन स्टिमुलस एंड रिस्पॉन्स कनेक्शन एंड reinforcement. So response of an individual to an environment is something that was of primary focus in behavioral approach. So structure unit of a personality was a response. I am giving you a stimulus. For example, I am saying I'll give you chocolate if you do the homework. So you do the homework and I am giving you the chocolate. So your response towards my reinforcement, that was chocolate, is something that was of the primary focus here. So each response is the behavior is emitted to satisfy the need. So the behavior is not elicited but it is emitted. मतलब अगर मैंने किया तो you will also do the same. Then example, children started to learn eating vegetables gradually according to this. So we have three theories majorly: classical conditioning by Pavlov, instrumental conditioning by Skinner, and observational conditioning or observational learning by Bandura. So classical conditioning, the behavior is elicited. You should remember the dog experiment that was done by Ivan Pavlov. Then instrumental conditioning, the behavior is emitted. It is not something that is elicited, it is emitted, it is seen. And then observational learning given by Bandura, the behavior does not require any reinforcement according to him. It was just a motivation to perform rather than a motivation to learn. Then we have cultural approach. So cultural approach to understand personality in relation with ecological and cultural environment. अब ecological और cultural environment क्या होता है? आपका जो ecological environment है, that is your surroundings, your environment, your school, your college, your colleagues, your parents, your teachers, your friends, your बॉयफ्रेंड्स, गर्लफ्रेंड्स, whoever you have. Then ecological maintenance system, एक system होता है हमारा जो हम maintain करना चाहते हैं. I want to be good in relationship with everybody around me. I do not want to get into fight with anybody. I do not want to what do we call it, be a person who is like disliked by everybody. So cultural approach कहती है कि personality अपने environment के हिसाब से बढ़ती है और आगे चलती है. And here the climatic conditions, food, habitat determines the social structure and child rearing practices. Obviously, if I do not have much money to rear a good like healthy child, then my child might be having the different personality to somebody who is raised by very wealthy and well-off parents, right? Then we have rituals and cultural practices, dance and art, that are means through which the personality gets projected to culture. So how are we interacting with our culture? It's through festivals, it's through the food, it's through the dance forms, it's through multiple rituals that we follow. You see wedding as a concept, marriage or wedding, whatever you call it. So this concept is basically something that is totally different in all different cities of only one country that I'm talking about, India. You see, everywhere there are different rituals, there are different dances, there are different costumes, there are different food, there are different like cuisines, and everything is really totally different. So that is how my culture is different from your culture, or your culture is different from other one's culture, because we are relating to ourselves through our culture, through these basic things that we practice in our culture. And there was also a study where child rearing practices were seen in Bihor society and agriculture society. So now Bihor society allowed enormous freedom, made children independent, took decision themselves, and they became achievement oriented. Whereas in agriculture society, they were obedient to others, and autonomy and achievement, their primary motive was this. So in agricultural society, the children were required to do every activity that their parents asked to do them. right? So you will be asking your kid to help you out, to obey your elders, to take care or nurture your siblings who are younger than you, whereas in Birohar society they allowed enormous freedom. Matlab the child had freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. So that's how the child became independent. The child started to feel that नहीं मुझे तो ये करना है तो मैं वही करूंगा या करूंगी, बट मैं अचीवमेंट ओरिएंटेड हूँ, लेकिन डिसीजन भी खुद लूंगा. लेकिन एग्रीकल्चर सोसाइटी में बिकॉज ऑल द डिसीजन दैट द चाइल्ड यूज्ड टू टेक फॉर देमसेल्व्स वाज नॉट डन बाय themselves sorry, that was done by their own parents. So that is how agriculture society became totally different to what Birohar society kids were like. Now humanistic approach. So humanistic approach talks about our own personal freedom, which is the major motive of humanistic approach. They say clearly that the person can be fully functioning if they are self-actualized, if they strive for something greater and bigger and bigger. So he said that the fulfillment of a motivational force of the development is like the personality reaching to their fullest potential. Like anybody who has like innate tendency to reach higher and higher, and if they reach to that highest state, that is when the person will be fully functioning and self-actualized. So they gave the they had the assumptions that the human behavior is goal directed, and also people choose to behave in a particular manner. People are adaptive and self-actualized, like they have a self-actualizing behavior that I will be going or thriving towards my goal. If I have a goal to top my 12th grade, or to become a topper in my CBSE batch, then become a topper in my graduation, then become a topper in my post graduation, and then be a best educator. So that is how my life will revolve around to this particular goal, and I will be striving day by day towards my highest potential. So self is very important here. Now here Carl Rogers talked about ideal self and real self. So ideal self is something that I want to be like, I want to become like. So यहाँ पे मुझे जिसकी तरह बनना है is ideal self, whereas जो मैं हूँ अभी currently is the real self. So here a person would like to be like. So if you would say a child who has like 20 marks out of 100 in biology takes up and think that he wants to become or she wants to become a doctor, and they do not have like aptitude. I already told you in chapter 1 that aptitude is something that you must possess to reach higher and higher into the activity you're going for. Aptitude is the underlining potential. आपके नीचे जो आपके अंदर already innate tendency है उसे हम aptitude कहते हैं. So वो जो aptitude है वो अगर बच्चे में है ही नहीं एंड उसका आइडियल सेल्फ डॉक्टर बनना है, तो आप ये देखिए कि कितना डिफरेंस आ रहा है रियल सेल्फ एंड आइडियल सेल्फ में. एंड दिस डिफरेंस इफ इट इज वेरी फार, लाइक रियल सेल्फ इज हियर एंड आइडियल सेल्फ इज देयर, देन द इनकॉन्ग्रुएंसी विल कम. मतलब ब्रेन में इनकॉन्ग्रुएंसी आएगी, एंड according to humanistic perspective, the pathology comes when there is so much incongruence between the real self and the ideal self. Then atmosphere should be like, if you want your own personality or your own kids or somebody you see to have a high achievement motivation or to be like a very self-actualized individual, you need to have unconditional positive regard for them. Now what is unconditional positive regard? Unconditional मतलब आपने कोई condition नहीं लगाई है उस positive regard को देने के लिए, which majorly parents in like जनरल पॉपुलेशन forget to do it like that, because they say अगर आप ये करोगे तो मैं आपको ये ला के दूंगा, अगर आप अच्छा पढ़ोगे तो आपको फोन मिलेगा, अगर आपने ये करा तो आपको अच्छा खाना मिलेगा. So that is how you are conditioned, and this is conditioned positive regard कि आप मुझे positive regard तब दे रहे हो जब मैं डॉक्टर बन रही हूँ या बन रहा हूँ. So that is how the pathology in the brain also gets more and more worse. So हमें unconditional positive regard देना है so that the child or the person can reach to their highest potential. And Carl Rogers ने अपनी ये client centered therapy भी दी थी. And he said, now कार्ल रॉजर ने थेरेपी दी है, बट ह्यूमनिस्टिक अप्रोच अब्राहम मैस्लो की है. अब्राहम मैस्लो ने कहा कि स्टेट वेयर पर्सन रीच देयर हाईएस्ट एंड फुलेस्ट पोटेंशियल इज द स्टेट वेयर दे वांट टू लाइक thrive for and strive for. So here they also talked about self-actualization, which is like only possible if the motivation is into yourself, like analyzing that motivation, and if that motivation is intrinsic, then the person will strive for the best and best. then individual sole concerned with the satisfaction of the needs reduces him or her level to the animal. अगर हम सिर्फ और सिर्फ हमारी basic needs like hunger, thirst and sex are certain basic needs according to Abraham Maslow, and generally also these are certain primary needs. If you're only and only striving for these three needs, then that is actually taking you to the level of animal, because animal also eat, sleep and procreate. Except then this, no animal does any other function. So why are you going to that level? According to Abraham Maslow, he said though, no, you should not go to the animal level, rather you should strive for best and best and best. Okay, and reach to your self actualization or fully become a fully functioning individual according to Carl Rogers. So the real journey of a human life begins with the pursuit of self-esteem and self-actualizing needs. So first of all, we should have self-actualization needs within ourselves, and that is how we will go higher and higher and higher and achieve that. So with that, we are done with the approaches, and I hope you like the lecture.